What is up, everyone, and welcome to a special edition, it's show night, but of the MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society St. Patrick's Day edition. This is
luckily it falls onto it, isn't it?
No kidding. How lucky can we be for this?
Exactly.
And, tonight it's all about all things Irish whiskey. Some people love it. Some people hate it. There's a lot of history behind it. There's a lot of process that makes Irish whiskey Irish whiskey. And tonight we're going to have our Sip, Sink, and Save, of course, all of our normals. But tonight they're all Irish and they are all super affordable. Mm-hmm. And, we're talking at the most, I think, $26 a bottle.
Yeah, you can't beat it. They're all available. You can find them anywhere.
Right.
All three are decent.
Oh, completely.
Mm-hmm. I really like that Bushmills.
Yeah, I am. I'm a big fan of it. And we'll get into all of that, though. But, yeah, we've got some Redbreast 12-year here. So all things Irish tonight. Even our cocktail this evening is going to feature Irish gunpowder gin. I kind of played around with what I was going to make tonight, so I went for something a little different. That way it wasn't an Irish whiskey drink, which everybody's got one, but it's the time. And it's all about St. Patrick's Day. But really, do you guys know what St. Patrick's Day is all about? It's kind of a freaky holiday.
It's just a reason to get drunk, right?
Well, there is that.
On Thursday?
Drunk
it's
on
a
a
celebratory
Thursday.
day.
But yeah, it's one of those holidays that it is really celebrated in Ireland. Right. So we do have that.
It legitimately started.
Yeah, Jimmy, tell us kind of what it's about.
Ago.
Yeah, tell us what St. Patrick's Day really is.
So, history of St. Pat, one, he's not Irish.
That's why, yeah, he's like Roman,
he's
right?
Great Britain.
He's
from Great Britain.
He's British.
So he's British, yeah. And he was actually how he wound up in Ireland to start. He was kidnapped by Irish pirates and put into slavery.
Well, that went well.
And he escaped his way out, went back to Great Britain, which, we're talking spirits.
Yeah.
He had a dream that he was being called back home, which is why he escaped and went home. After getting there, he had the same type dream that the people of Ireland were calling him back.
Interesting.
So
they must have had really good drugs back then.
No,
it was all the whiskey.
It was all the whiskey.
Because it's all about the whiskey in Ireland.
Okay.
But, and it took him a while to get there because he actually was a priest and a bishop in...
Oh, those guys were the worst back then, too.
Yeah.
Completely.
So he wound up eventually going back to Ireland, being a monastery and that, and spending his time there, or missionary, I should say, not monastery, but missionary.
Craig's favorite.
And so the reason for St. Pat's on March 17th is it's the anniversary of his death.
Yes.
And the first year after he died, on the first anniversary, people of Ireland started celebrating in honor of him because of everything he had done for the country. So going through that, and it continued on and still continues.
Well, there's always the wearing of the green and all that, which I'm glad we all did tonight.
Yep.
So
Jeremy thinks this is green. He's colorblind. He didn't
not.
put his glasses on. Now you're close enough, though.
Okay, good. Because you don't want to get pinched by a leprechaun.
Right.
That's why you have to wear green. I found that out in all of this.
Where the fuck are you going to find a leprechaun at?
Craigslist?
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Close Encounters?
I tried once. It was fine.
Close Encounters?
Oh, God. But yeah,
So, no, that's... and there has always been a tie-in that St. Patrick and Irish whiskey were a thing. That St. Patrick supposedly brought the idea of distilling to Ireland. But that's not really how it went down.
The spirits that they talked about weren't alcohol related. They were dreams and visions.
Right. But yeah, and actually I don't think Irish distilling had even been a thing or distilling in general hadn't been a thing in Britain at the time that St. Patrick was around.
Yeah, it was like 460 when he died, I think, somewhere in there.
Yeah, but we give him a lot of credit because, it makes for a fun holiday. What did you guys do today? Anything good? I know, Craig, you took a nap.
I worked.
I worked until 1 and slept the rest.
That's fair.
And since I couldn't have green beer, I've got Jeremy's green Irish gin.
That's right. So we are going to make a fun one tonight. I was playing around with it. I was going to do an Irish mule, which everybody has their version of an Irish mule. But tonight I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I wanted to do Really green and really cool. And I am going to let you guys out there in the audience name this one because I didn't come up with a name with it. So
It's actually pretty good.
yeah, I'm pretty stoked on this one.
So what I find interesting tonight, being St. Pat's Day, being an MMA show, the Irish MMA fighter with his own Irish whiskey, we don't have his whiskey on the show. And we're doing gin instead of whiskey for our drink.
Well,
so we've gone totally
away. But so I have a problem.
It happens.
I have a problem with
OCD?
Proper
Yeah, we
12. I don't have a problem with it.
It's super inconsistent.
It is. Yeah. That is my 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, we had bottles from the very first run of it, and we've had bottles that have been lately.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, and maybe not a lot of people out there know that one of these three along here actually makes Proper 12. Proper 12 is made by Bushmills now. It's made in the Bushmills distillery. It's basically a younger version of Bushmills that they're taking a little more of there's three parts to whiskey. There is the heads, the hearts, and the tails. They take a little more of the heads and a little more of the tails, where the hearts go to Bushmills, the others go to Proper 12. And that's how they came up with it, but they also talk about its light flavor, and that's why, because the tails are a little bit weaker.
I don't think it has a light flavor.
See, but that's inconsistency between bottles.
Right. True.
So
True.
right.
You know, you always hear him talking about how Jameson is this and Jameson that.
Well,
Jameson is at least. I like Jameson, and it's a consistent product.
100%, and it's been that way for hundreds of years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like one of the places I want to visit when I go to Ireland.
I can't
Absolutely.
remember it. 1780.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
440 years now.
yeah, completely.
Bushmills is the oldest, I think. 1608. So.
And what is Tullamore if it's got an age statement to it, or when they started?
1829.
Okay.
So they're all roughly 400 to 600 years
Right.
they've been in business.
And
Which that goes a hell of a long way that you've been producing the same product for that long.
Right.
super consistent.
Right.
You know,
They
every
figured-
one of
they
these are
figured it out.
super
They
consistent.
figured it out probably 300 or 400 years ago.
I mean, you know, you got a lot of time,
Right.
time on your hands to make things work.
It happens. You'll have that.
Exactly on those big jobs.
What amazes me, though, when you look at something like Bushmills, it's a minimum of 3 years.
Yes.
And the depth of it that they get in 3 years, the depth of flavor profile in that
Right.
is amazing for such a young.
And but it all comes back to the how and whys that it's made, and we'll kind of go into that here in a little bit too. But tonight, yeah, I came up with this one. This is what's called Irish Gunpowder Gin. So gunpowder gin is made. It's an Irish based spirit. The gunpowder portion is actually tea that they brought in from China. And so whenever they infuse the juniper berries and all of that, whenever they do their vapor distillations, and it picks up the flavors to make gin, because gin is basically nothing more than moonshine
Right.
that's flavored. At that point in time, they take it, then they throw a bunch of Chinese gunpowder tea to it, and it completely changes the flavor of gin. I've heard, producer Matt, smells like perfume. It's got some of it has a floral taste, some of it doesn't. It's an interesting thing, and I really was kind of stoked to play with this tonight. So
You almost get that tonic with a little bit of lime scent when you.
like out of the box,
Out of the
like,
bottle, yeah,
out of the
exactly.
bottle.
I'm not a gin person, and I really don't like gin much, but I'd like to try that. But of course,
Well, business is business,
I'm
right?
sober Craig again.
Exactly, which we got to fix that on this show.
We gotta
Because drunk
change
Craig,
we gotta change the show dates.
exactly. So, but all
You got to
right,
change something. We'll leave it at that.
we are gonna go with
God hope Ian's not watching.
we are gonna go with here an ounce and a half of gunpowder gin. With that, we are gonna make it kind of fun. So we are gonna take half an ounce of blue curacao because, of course, we want it to be green. Right. Half ounce of blue curacao.
It's amazing we picked the liquor that we want to put in it for color.
Exactly, because literally, that's nothing more than what that is.
Right.
Half ounce fresh squeezed lime juice, and yes, that really is that out of one. Drop that in. Throw that in with it. Beautiful. From there, quick dash of simple syrup.
Love how he's just winging it. Damn, that was all the
That was
simple
a-
syrup.
That was like a bitter
Like I said,
shaker.
It's literally it's nothing more than a dash of it.
Okay.
If not, it actually makes it too sweet.
Okay.
Because the other thing that you're going to pop into this is good old fashioned orange juice. So yeah, we are going to drop in 2 ounces of orange juice.
Excuse me.
Beautiful. All right. From
Drink takes a
there,
long time to make.
Clearly.
what's that?
Nothing.
This one does take a while to make, actually. Give it a little shake. Beauty. Get the thing to open.
You know, you get the shaker the guy asked for, and he still complains.
I do, because it's sticking. There we
Because
go.
the studio is just about done.
Well,
I should say the basement. So we actually repurposed and upgraded some of the bar equipment.
we have, and
In
I appreciate
preparation.
that. I appreciate you doing that for me. All right, from there, we take it, we pour and strain into our coupe glass. Right like that. So pretty and green. Drop a bit of lime wedge into your drink. Give it a little bit of squeeze, a little bit of a turn. Right like that. There we go. Around the edge. Boom, and done.
Make a mess on the bar.
Not bad.
It's all right. That's
Anyway,
what it's there for.
Cheers, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay. Yay. Oh,
That's good, though.
it's bullshit.
That is good.
It's been kind of fun drinking in front of Craig the last
It
couple
really
shows
has
too.
been.
This is horse shit. Like, literally, this is horse shit.
And the best part is, who knows what we break out in front of him too.
Oh, completely.
And he just gets a look like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. Payback's a bitch.
Well, but
Hey, my mother might be watching. Watch the language.
can we take a minute? I'm gonna go off topic because your mom cracks me up. Your mom is the most amazing cocktail drinker I have ever seen. So
At least she cares. She just wants one.
exactly. So we you know you had your 60th birthday here very
We don't have to
recently.
say
We
that.
talked
Well, I
about
guess
it.
it's, yeah.
It is what it is.
So, and I did get surprised with a party.
Yes, but your mother stole everyone's cocktails.
My mother's like that. So uppercuts out. We know that.
Yes.
And to put it in layman's terms, the drink the bar has on her menu over at Tompkins Riverside
Yeah.
is essentially
here
a,
in St. Louis. Yeah.
in St. Louis, is a White Russian, but made with,
Uppercut whiskey
Uppercut
instead
whiskey.
of vodka.
so my mom wanted to try it. And it's my birthday, my first drink of the night. I didn't get it back. I had one sip, my mom took me, oh, this is good, I like it. And that was it.
Yeah, your mom was
And she
funny.
had more than that, didn't she?
Oh,
She had a few more.
she
Okay, that's what I thought.
she would.
She had
kind
to
of-
drive, so she was responsible, but yeah.
but Mama Range had a few cocktails that night, and it was pretty
Mama Range
funny.
likes her liquor.
Well, I appreciate.
I don't know
that. I mean,
why it's questioned why I do too.
So, all right, but no, it is all about St. Patrick's Day and all about the Irish whiskey. So, Irish whiskey, the creation of it matters. You know, just like bourbon, just like Scotch. Irish whiskey has a set of rules that makes it. Number one, and I find this one pretty interesting, is that it has to be made in Ireland. You cannot be an American company and make Irish whiskey in America, no matter what formulation you use for your mash bill. And so they have kept it to be kind of our bourbon. You know, it has to be made in the United States. It doesn't have to be made in Kentucky, but it has to be made in the United States. They have to be distilled a minimum of 3 times in a pot still. And they are basically 1 grain, which I find real interesting. So you get American bourbon, corn, rye, barley, wheat, all of this other stuff. Irish whiskey is malted barley and unmalted barley, roasted and unroasted. It's just how they formulate those particulars together, the way that they cook it, and then the way that they distill it, and then the way that they age it, which most of them actually age in American bourbon barrels.
Yep.
So
They reuse them.
yeah, because you can't reuse bourbon barrels in the United States. They have to be new to make bourbon. And so basically what happens is all the distilleries ship them overseas and they become other products.
Right.
So it's a fun one. What do you guys think, though? Let me know what is your favorite Irish whiskey, because there are a ton of them out there. Just standing in the section of the liquor store today, there is a ton of newer products out there. I know Teeling is a new big one that has come out. There's a couple of O'Connell that They all look really interesting, and I'm kind of stoked to try as we go along.
And Bushmills has a few variations of it too.
And well, think of all the new Jameson variations.
I had a Bushmills 10-year not too long ago. It was really good.
Their Black Bush is really good.
The orange.
What was that?
Nothing. The orange Jameson that came out, the new orange flavored one, has been really nice.
The Jameson coffee cask, we had that one show.
Oh.
Oh my God, that was incredible.
That was.
If I didn't have to actually function at work, that could be my morning drink. It's that good.
I could absolutely see that. So, all right, let's move on though to our, of course, sip, sink, and save tonight. All Irish whiskeys. Craig Nasello. Even though you are not drinking tonight due to prior commitments, I know that you have
You
had.
can say it. I have to go to work, okay?
Okay, fine. I mean, you got to go to work.
I have to go to work. I work midnights.
We all have to do it. But we have 3 of the biggest around. I wanted to go tonight with the anything and everything, because even people were giving us trouble because we popped a Redbreast 12 here the last show. And they're like, well, where'd you get that at? Well, it's out there. Excuse me. Who's got the Weller CYPB sitting over here just off camera?
Next to you.
I mean, it's just off camera. Y'all seen one of these? Yeah. Anyway, but these are all very readily available. So, Craig, give me your thoughts on them and kind of the flavors that you like. I know you're a big Jameson guy, but also I do know you're a big fan of Bushmill. So I want to see how it plays out.
Because tonight's the first time I had
the Tullamore. Yeah.
And it's pretty decent. I'd like to be able to
Really
drink
get into
it,
sure.
to really tell. So it's kind of hard to say, what I'm going to throw away, because I know what my everyday would be. My everyday is going to be Jameson.
Okay.
I mean, it's a consistent bottle. It's an inexpensive bottle, and I love it. I love the taste of it. I've always liked Jameson.
Yeah, before this ever came about, you were
Yeah.
a Jameson and a Jack Daniels guy, and those were the 2.
Yeah, and then again, it's hard to throw one away because again, I can't get into a little more to really tell you. I had a sip of it, So my save is going to be the Bushmills, just because I really like Bushmills too.
Okay,
and Bushmills is a really good mixer.
Absolutely, yes.
I mean, it's not, especially because Bushmills can be sometimes be a little harsh, depending on which bottle you buy.
But I have a bottle of Bushmills in my carry-around bartender bag that I carry with me. I mean, yeah, because it works for almost everything.
So my save is going to be the Bushmill, and then I think my sink is going to be the Tullamore, and that's nothing against them.
It wasn't enough to see.
Right, yeah.
And that's
it's not
fair.
enough to really sit here and say, oh my God,
And it's got, and you kind of made the mention, it kind of has that grainy taste to it.
Yeah,
it does. It's got a lot of grain to it.
Right.
So,
I mean, but it tastes really well. It finishes well. I enjoyed it, but I got to have of it.
Fair.
So.
All right. Well, Craig is he's going to sip Jameson. He is going to throw down the drain Tullamore Dew, and he is saving for that special occasion, the Bushmills. Solid picks. Yeah. Solid picks.
Well, Bushmills it's not inexpensive, but it's not expensive.
No, nothing on the table is $28 or more a bottle.
No.
And that's perfect to see. So
until you get it to like the 10-year, then it really goes.
Well, I mean, when you jump to the 12-year, that's a little different of an animal. And the Bushmills 10-year, there's more to it.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, there's some more expensive Irish whiskeys out there, but it's not like the bourbon world.
No.
At all.
Well, it seems like they didn't slow down. You could get their product.
Actually, there is a supposed, I heard this in the bar world, there's a supposed shortage of Jameson coming.
Interesting.
And it's all due to shipping and gas and
I could see
the
that.
Ukrainian war
but what
is
I'm saying,
all...
I could see that, but I'm not saying, I'm talking about when COVID hit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I'm
they
saying?
didn't shut down like a lot of your bourbons did.
Right,
and
yeah.
they ain't a bunch of sissies.
Right, exactly. They're out fighting and drinking in the streets. I mean, that was a little bit of a stereotype, but
Good for them. I mean,
I think one of the best memes I saw today was Irish pubs, sunblock for Irish people.
Hey, and I bet Dan O'Connor, Johnny Irish, the MMA
Johnny
fighter,
Irish
would be like, he's all right, bring it on.
Straight.
So, but all right, Jim Range, sip, sink, and save.
Again, what? It's a tough call.
Yeah, I mean, it really
they
is.
all are. So, my sip is going to be Jameson. I'm going to sway from Craig, and I'm going to sink the Bushmill.
Oh.
And I'm going to go to
Bushmills can
Tullamore because I think there's enough with the flavor profile with it that you get a
Okay.
little more of that fruit with it and that on the palate
Okay.
and the nose that you might be able to do a little bit more with it. I think Bushmills is a little bit stronger. It's got a little more bite that gives you that ability when
To
you're
tone
making
it-
a drink.
You could tone it up or tone it down with the Bushmills.
Right, but with the Tullamore having a little bit more of that flavor, and Jeremy, we've gone through this before with me, if I get that flavor profile that I can make different drinks with,
Completely.
I'll go there because I don't have to worry about somebody liking a stronger drink or not.
Well,
It gives me that ability
Right.
to cover everybody.
and that's the biggest thing about Irishes is that it doesn't have the big boldness that you get out of some bourbons or some American whiskeys. It doesn't have the variation in flavors.
Right.
If you're going to get a Bushmills, the three that we have, they're going to be very similar in taste because of what it takes to make them. The triple distillation and the idea of a pot still, when I say pot still, it actually means that it's the very typical thing that you see in every distillery shot is the big round, pot that they cook these in copper. That has to be part of Irish whiskey. They can't do it in a column like you can vodka.
It looks like a
American-
Willet bottle.
Exactly. More meth.
Okay.
Right, yeah. Because, we're Americans.
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I can't help it.
He's been on a roll since he can't
He
drink.
really has.
I can't
love
drink
it.
his
It has changed
bullshit.
his comedy and it's still funny as shit. So all right, so give us the lineup, Jim.
We're going to sip Jameson, sink the Bushmill, and we're going to save the Tullamore.
Again, like I said, it could have switched that way for me too if
Yeah.
I could actually drink.
All right, so here's mine. Again, solid picks from everybody. So to me, Bushmills has probably the best flavor profile of all of these on here. Reason being is that the way that they do their grains and their malted and unmalted barley is they basically fire roast it. And the fire roasting is what gives you that caramelized, that nose of anything from honey to sweet tea. Depends upon what you're there. You get those kind of smells to it. I am a huge fan of all of the Bushmills products, but I have really come around lately to the Jameson flavors. We did the one show where we did all of the Jamesons.
Yeah.
It was the Caskmates. It was the Black. This was like a year ago.
I don't remember that.
Well, that's because you were drunk. That was when you could drink with us. Back when you were fun, Craig.
it happens. It happens.
But no, Jameson has been one of those that to me, it's always the cornflakes of whiskey. It's the same no matter what you do.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
the same taste no matter if you have a bottle here.
And that could be boring to some people. But when you want to drink and have a consistent drink, like you can buy a Bud Light and one Bud Light could taste different than the other Bud Light. I mean, it's just how it is.
So
Not much, but
Right. Well, so to me, the Jameson is the Irish whiskey that Maker's Mark is to bourbon. Because Maker's Mark is the same, does not matter what, where, nor how. It is the same bottle every time. And that's what they strive for. I mean, those guys, they change where the barrels sit in the rick house every 2 years.
Yeah.
They move them. Jameson is that to me. It is the absolute same. No matter when you crack that bottle, you know 100% what it's going to taste like. Tullamore Dew to me gives you a almost roasted, for lack of a better term, a roasted chestnut smell because of the way that they cook the grains. I find that very appealing in drinks, and so my everyday sip is going to be Tullamore Dew. My save for the special occasion is going to be the Bushmills, and my down the drain is going to be Jameson. And that is solely because of the idea that Jameson it's Jameson. If you can't pour a glass and blind taste Jameson, you don't understand Irish whiskey.
Yep. That's
You can
true.
pick it every time. There are some, we talked about Proper 12. Proper 12, you couldn't pour a glass and tell the same thing anytime of any of them. It was funny. My son played this game with me the other day, and he went to grab one off the whiskey cabinet and pours it in a glass, and he's like, "What is it?" I mean, I got 150 bottles, just like you do, Jim. We've got lots. And I tasted. I'm like, "Did you wash this glass?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, did you put water in this? And he's like, no. And I'm like, it's an Irish whiskey, but I don't know which one this is because it was so watered down from that particular bottle that I had. Now, we've all had bottles that were great, but I'm like, I have no idea what this is. He's like, it's proper 12. I'm like, then this is one of the bad batches that came out. Whereas all of these, spot on, but Bushmills gives me a little bit more flavor that I want to use. Tullamore gives me that every day. I've got enough backing of the roasting to it to want to make cocktails with it. So that, to me, that's always why it's going to be that way. So let us know what you think, though. I know that we have got a lot of Irish whiskey fans out there. And remember, guys, this is all brought to you by Brad Carey at Unrivaled Realty. Go check them out. Brad Carey Realty for all of your house selling and buying in Missouri.
That's right. He started his own thing, didn't he?
That's right. He's got his own brokerage.
He's now his own brokerage.
Good for him.
So, yeah, definitely go check out.
Congratulations, Brad.
Absolutely. Unrivaled Realty. Very, very stoked for Brad to be doing that for us. And, again, we appreciate everything that they do. A big thank you to On the Rocks in St. Charles, Missouri for helping us out a little bit tonight with all of the whiskey. So we greatly appreciate that also.
Rock does a great job with that since he's open.
And another very cool thing is that they carry Uppercut whiskey.
That's right.
So, yeah, I'm very stoked on that one. So, hey, I got to throw it in.
He had to make sure you got that shameless plug in there.
I have got to get the plugs.
Hold on, let me just crowbar this one in.
For Uppercut whiskey, check it out at All Friar Tucks on the Rocks.
I may have picked up 3 bottles last week for friends out of
Picked up
town.
4.
Well, yeah, but I hit.
And I greatly appreciate it.
I hit on the rocks for all of them.
I can't believe I actually got to pay out of my pocket to get this.
I know. Can you imagine?
What a friend, right?
You want to know what the bad thing was? And this is a little inside baseball. I had to go buy one myself.
That's funny.
I was going someplace and they asked me to bring one, and I forgot to grab one out of my stash. And I stopped in and I bought my own whiskey. Do you know how weird that was? I'm like, the lady behind the counter, I'm like, thank you. Yeah. So it was something.
I'm glad he's still humble.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
Hold on. Let's remove your head from your ass.
I mean, fair. But no, it was really weird. The other one is really weird is to see it on menus because Rockstar Taco has the cherry pie with it.
Are we doing something with Rockstar?
So that we're not going to announce that yet.
Okay.
But yes, there is.
Because I'm excited because I haven't been there yet.
Well, there is going to be a great. So Rockstar Taco does a lot of cool things. Number one, Will and Becca do amazing food down at Gaslight on the Hill. And we're going to be doing something, number one, as the show, and number two, as Uppercut Whiskey. And so we're going to be doing, they do a trivia night every Tuesday. So we may hang out, we may play a little trivia, we may do some giveaways. They do another big thing that's very near and dear to my heart, is they do they work with an organization called Play It Forward, which puts musical instruments into the hands of people who can't afford them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool.
I have been, you guys know,
yeah.
I've been a lifelong musician. I have toured the country. Will, the chef at Rockstar Tacos, is another guy. He actually was in a band called Neptune Crush for a long time. Played the world. And so I'm going to more than likely be giving away one of my old touring Fenders. And so we're going to do it as a raffle off for Play It Forward. We're going to do a great trivia night with them. So more information of that will come. We'll all be there, of course, too. So, we're going to do some Uppercut Whiskey cocktails. We're going to be there talking whiskey with you. So it'll be a fun night.
Yep. And for those that don't know, he's probably got as many guitars as he does bottles of bourbon.
No,
or close to
more.
it. Yeah.
Probably got more guitars.
I know that my last count, I had 53 guitars.
Okay.
So
You're close.
Yeah. I like guitars. Used to play a lot, but really where we're at now is mixed martial arts. And being here in St. Louis, Missouri, we had a killer show that hit the Family Arena. Craig, Bellator came back to town. And
after 4 years.
After 4 years.
It was nice to see everybody back in here.
On very short notice.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
They were given a date. They were given a date, right?
Yeah.
And had to find a venue, and boom,
and
it fell into place.
It was one of those that I was so thrilled to see the MMA community at large come out and support it. Because that place was packed for what they sold tickets to. It was gigantic. But they had some great fights.
Julius and Glicklis, just wish he could have won.
Oh,
it was it's a lot of pressure. He's fighting. He's top 4 in the light
heavyweight
division in Bellator. I mean, he fought Mr. Wonderful Phil Davis. That's an ex-champion. I mean, he was in the top of the UFC at one point. He's the top of the Bellator.
Former Bellator champ, right?
Yeah, former Bellator champ. I mean,
and he's really looking to get back there. I mean,
No, he looked.
Yeah, we
Phil
talked
looked
about
good.
that. He's really, really wanting that back.
Yeah, and it was interesting. I really wish Julius would have won, but it is what it is. And that main event, oh my God.
Well, the main event was one of the coolest slugfests that was basically a kickboxing bout in a cage.
Those two beat the piss out of each other.
That's the best way to put it.
I mean, Mads Burnell, did you hear those body shots?
Oh.
I mean, some of the body shots he was hitting him out of Borks with, it was like, oh.
Yeah.
Because I was in Mads' corner, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh. And I was lucky enough that I was sitting on the other side, and to hear the shots was just the craziest. I mean, that fight was just, it was such a war that those guys were, I can't imagine what they look like in the morning.
Well, I see Mads at the bar afterwards, and his eye was bad. I'm like, can you see out of that? And he's like, nope. I said, could you see out of it in a fight? He goes, yeah. He goes, and he looks, he goes, oh man, you were the cut man, weren't you? I'm like, yeah, I was. He's like, yeah, no, I can see out of it.
Well, that's good.
That's awesome.
But no, he was fun. He was nice to talk to him for a little bit, and that's the first time I've ever really met with him, and he was really nice. And it was nice to see, like I said, it was nice to see St. Louis come out and support Bellator.
100%.
And hopefully they will be back.
Yeah.
Sooner than later. Sooner than 4 years. You know.
Yeah, completely. I think the biggest statement of that night, though, in my opinion, was Johnny Eblen.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to segue there. Johnny Eblen and John Salter. Johnny Eblen dominated that whole fight from start to finish.
Completely. Completely.
Johnny Eblen has. If you're from the St. Louis area, you probably know who Johnny is. He's from Kansas City. He wrestled at Mizzou. He honestly came out there and put on a statement that he wants to fight Gegard Mousasi for the title.
100%.
And I honestly think he has the skills to beat him. I think. Now, don't get me wrong. Gegard Mousasi. I mean, he just destroyed Austin Vanderford. I mean,
he did. I mean, destroyed.
I mean, it
Mr.
was not.
Page Van Zandt.
Yeah, it was not pretty, but I think Johnny has it's just a different breed. He's more.
It's upstairs.
Yeah, he is just riding a confidence high, and his striking has gotten so much better. Because I mean, you used to call his fights in the regional scene.
Yeah, I called his fights for Shamrock Fighting Championships up in Kansas City, and
he's grown so much in the past 2 years.
And the thing that got me is that Johnny had the who's who of MMA in his corner from American Top Team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The absolute
King Mo,
Thiago Alves,
and Mike Brown.
I mean, that was something you don't generally see, even when the American Top Team guys come out.
Right.
Like, Mike Brown's usually out.
Mike Brown is he's the Thiago Alves was there.
Yeah.
You know, that's, I mean.
And then they have they had quite a few people on this card. They had Johnny Eblen. They had Cody Law, which Cody come out and did you see it? Did you see the big thing on him? He wrote down last week or the week before
and called it
that day.
No, it was last week. It was the week before he left the gym. He wrote down the time and what round he would finish this kid, and it was exactly the 117 of the first round. I mean, that kid 6-0 now. Cody Law is going to be
a beast.
I
and
see
also
that
apparently
kid.
He likes uppercut whiskey.
He does like uppercut whiskey. He's a fellow bourbon person. And but he's going to be
shout out Cody Law, thank you.
Yes, he's going to be a beast. They had that the Russian Diana. I can't even pronounce her last name. I wrap her hands. Super nice. She's fought first a few times now. I think she's 3-0. She come out and looked well.
Absolutely, but the girl that she fought, I cannot remember her name, but because I worked her corner.
Yeah.
She's like, I took this fight on 4 days and I missed a cruise, but by God, this is fun. And she was like,
she was like 8-4.
Yeah, she was like real.
She's had some
she
fights.
just said I took some time off, but I wanted to fight in Bellator. I'm like, that's amazing.
I mean,
but it's amazing she kept the vacation to go do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
I mean, she's like, whatever. I'm down. Let's go.
It was amazing. I mean, like It was a close fight. It really was. I mean, it was a great night to see, though, and it was every...
The fight that I'm really upset about that didn't happen.
Oh, yeah.
Was Josh Augustine and Josh West, Josh Augustine and Josh Weston.
Yeah. It's a tough thing, especially for a regional athlete like Josh Augustine.
Well, and Weston, it was a day. What took it a week or 2 hours?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
he was very short notice too.
Short notice fight. I mean,
Up a weight class for Augustine,
Augustine.
you know, and then Weston's trying to make weight in a week. You know, it happens. And it was kind of rough. That was my lock bet of the night, too. That was going to be a fun one to see.
It happens. But, I mean,
yeah.
It's one of those things where you're just like, what do you do? I'm trying to think of what else. Well, how about the exploding ear on...
how about the knee? Like,
Oh,
I
my
thought he
God.
was dead.
Well, you know, Julius fought that guy.
Yeah.
And beat him. But, oh, my God, that guy is tougher than shit.
Oh,
I mean...
best way to put it. Absolutely,
He took a flying knee to the face.
Oh,
and
it
finished
hurt.
this guy. And finished him.
Completely.
Like, got up and finished him.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. Like, he's tougher than hell. So, shout out to him, and I'm trying to remember his name right now, and I cannot think of it for the life of me.
because it's hard to pronounce. Like, started with a P.
No, he was the American.
Right, but it wasn't. Am I wrong? Am I who I'm
You're
name
drunk,
wise?
I don't know.
No,
I
I'm
can't
not
remember.
drunk, but
I can't remember, and I've talked to him quite a few times. He's
Yeah.
a really nice guy, and right now I'm drawing a blank.
it happens.
Yeah.
But no, it was like the other thing that I really kind of wanted to talk about with this is that it kind of brought Midwestern MMA back together.
Yeah.
Everyone basically was represented. There were people from either not, and I'm just talking in the audience.
Oh,
There
yeah.
was everybody was there, and that was a great thing to see.
Yeah.
It was a great thing to see. Everybody came back again to.
It was crazy to see all the people that were,
Yeah.
you're walking through and people are yelling at you, and you're like, hey, I got to go work. You know?
Right, exactly, yeah.
You know, I try to say hi, it's like, hi, okay, I go back in the back, you know. And I mean, it was a fun night. I had a blast. Thank you to Bellator for coming back.
Absolutely.
You got your first shot at Bellator being a cut man?
Yeah, I wasn't even going to talk about that, but yeah,
got a little
I
fill
did.
in.
Yeah, so I was stoked to fill in with Bellator.
You don't see us. You don't understand how much goes into a big promotion like that until you're backstage and you
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah,
And it's like all those people do their job very, very well. And it's crazy to watch.
Yeah, working with the Bellator crew was one of the coolest things as far as this goes.
Yeah.
I'd worked Bellator from a media side before, but to be on the ops end of it was a whole different animal. And my God, you guys do an amazing job for everything that goes on.
That and I love working with Burt Watson.
Oh yeah, That was very cool. I'm not
Burt
gonna
Watson
lie.
is probably I just love his energy, and he's been down because he broke a couple ribs.
Yeah.
So he's been down for like the past few shows. So he's not got that energy right now because he's still so sore. He said, but because he'll be running around the back yelling. And I'm like, Bert, you're like 67, 68 years old, dude. Or I think he may be older than that.
You act like that's old?
Well,
It's okay, buddy.
no,
It's okay.
I think Bert might be in his 70s. I can't
I think
remember.
he's pushing it.
But he will run around that back room, yelling and screaming the whole night, like pumping everybody up.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, let's go. You know, I mean, the fighters get into it. Everybody gets into it. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Big thank you to everybody also in the chat. Of course, we all want Irish coffee. Also, that's generally my morning wake up drink. So, it was great. We've had also some great UFC fights that have happened. There's a
UFC
ton of stuff
happened?
coming out. Yeah, I mean UFC's out there. It still happens.
I have not. I can't remember last time I watched a UFC card.
Well-
honestly, if Sean Woodson isn't on the card or someone I know like
Sure.
Krause or Grant Dawson, I don't watch.
Well,
Everything's
see-
pay-per-view now, and we're
Yeah.
jacking the pay-per-view price again.
See-
It's kind of cut back on how much I watch
Yeah.
it too.
So you brought up an interesting thing when you said James Krause. This is one of my off the script MMA questions for you
Okay.
guys tonight. There has been a lot of talk of one St. Louis native knockout of the year holder, Joaquin Buckley, who has talked a lot of smack, for a better word. Don't get me wrong. I actually talked to Joaquin at Bellator. He was great. He was a great guy.
I didn't even see him.
Yeah, he was there.
That's part of the game, though.
Well, exactly.
It's part of any sport.
But he's talking smack on James Krause. that, you know, he was
one of the nicest guys you've ever met.
well. So
anyway.
I actually interviewed James at this on the other show on Down Goes Frazier, and we kind of talked about it a little bit, and he was like, I'll fight that punk anywhere, blah, 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 blah. You know, he talked about how bad of a guy he was, yada, yada, yada. Now, I'm not here to bring any of that in because it is what it is, you know.
But he already did.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it was one of those more that, like, you know, Joaquin's his own guy. Has been for years.
Yeah.
You know.
It's Buck. We know how Buck is.
Exactly.
I have nothing against either guy. I like both of them quite a bit.
So, but what I'm saying is it's looking closer
to happening.
Nice. And the fact that James Krause is willing to go up to 185 because like it takes me 2 days to get to 185 and I will beat his ass. Craig, who takes it? James Krause?
Krause is a more well-rounded
or Joaquin? Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Buckley has the power. Buckley will bring it. But so will James. James is a smarter fighter, I think.
Okay.
I think Joaquin is more of let me go kick the door down. And Krause is more of, okay, I'm going to go this way and build it. You know, build this bridge, and then I'm going to kick the door through. You know,
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
One of those guys that he's going to eventually. Yeah, you're gonna. You know, you might win a moment, but I'm working on different moments to finally. You know.
So you're saying chess versus checkers.
Pretty much.
All right, Jim Range. Thoughts on this one?
I mean, give Buck credit from the times we saw him in his Bellator days versus now. Night and day
He's
difference.
a night and day different fighter,
difference.
and I'm happy for him.
Huge respect. Everything
yeah.
he's done to get there. But as Craig said, Krause is on another level mentally when it comes to it strategically. I think he finds a way just to wear Buck down, and
Honestly,
he does. Krause doesn't make mistakes, and he will
but
he will capitalize on a mistake too.
My whole thing with
And I think that's where he'll take advantage.
my whole thing with James is, I think James. Well, one, James has got a shit ton of more fights. One, two. I think James has a different mindset at this point in his career than Buckley does.
Okay.
And I think that seasoned veteran of Krause will outlast Buckley on that aspect. It's like the whole, you know, we should run down the hill, Dad, and you know.
Are you really going to that one?
No, I'm
Okay.
not. But I'm just saying is, my thought of it is, I think James will win that fight. Personally, I think so.
All right. Producer Matt, thumbs up James Krause, thumbs up. Oh, okay,
Ooh.
all right. Thumbs
We'll
up
keep that
James
one
Krause.
secret.
Okay,
We'll keep
all
that
right,
secret.
that's fine. Okay.
How about you?
Who do I think wins that fight? The fans. Okay,
I think
moving
so
on
too.
next.
So when you throw the question,
Right, but he won't answer it. He won't
I'm
answer
not going
it.
to take sides.
100% I'm not taking
I mean,
sides.
that's the thing is, I don't want to take anything away from Buckley.
No.
But it's one of those things that's like mentally, I think James Krause is the stronger fighter mentally.
Okay. All right. And then my final last gotcha for the evening in the world of mixed martial arts. One Dana White was on Logan Paul's podcast this week talking about the fight world. Logan Paul point blank asked Dana White, can I fight in the UFC? He goes, would you sign me? Dana White says, I wouldn't hold anything out. He's like, you got your wrestling. You know how to box some. You ever done jiu-jitsu? He's like, oh, yeah. Will we see Logan Paul in the UFC, and who should be his first opponent? Craig.
God.
I thought long and hard for this one, I'm not going to lie.
Clearly you did, because I don't listen to any of that
I understand,
shit,
but-
so I have no clue. I've not heard anything. But here's my thought on it. I really don't give a fuck.
Very fair. Okay.
I mean, honestly, I just don't care.
Would you watch a Logan Paul fight?
No. Don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
I'm posing this one also to the audience.
We're also going back to the, I don't really watch that much UFC shit because it's too goddamn expensive to watch.
Fair.
I mean, at what, $75 a pay-per-view now?
Yeah, it has gotten
is.
pretty
It went
crazy.
from 60 to
Yeah, I'm not.
something
I just,
to 75.
I mean, I'm sorry, but gas is $5 a gallon at this point. I don't have that and this. You know, I mean, something's got to give, and I really think watching a Logan Paul fight really to get his ass kicked by CM Punk really doesn't bother me.
That's funny. You want to know why?
Because he wants to
that's
fight
just
CM
gonna
Punk.
Because that was who I thought would be the best fight for Logan Paul
I
to
was
start
thinking the
with.
same thing.
So yeah. Okay, Jim Range, does
So-
he beat CM Punk?
Yeah.
No. I think CM Punk's tougher.
Wow. Dang, Craig. All right.
I'd bet you on that one, Craig.
I just don't care. I mean,
No, I know.
Those guys just.
I love the fact that
I love the fact that they're bringing out the fighter pay stuff and all that. I give them respect for that because they're right. They are absolutely right.
Oh yeah.
These guys are making, these promoters. Some of these promoters are making a lot. And UFC is making a ton of fucking money.
They just announced this week that they've got record earnings.
Right.
Absolutely.
They grew 30% or something over last year.
And then some of these guys that are coming into the UFC make shit. Make shit. To what? To get a fucking concussion, have brain damage when they're older?
Well, I do appreciate here that former Bellator veteran Matt Helm says he would absolutely fight Logan Paul in a heartbeat.
Coming out of retirement, homie?
There you go.
I'd pay to see that one.
I would too.
That'd be fun.
I would travel to go see that one, Matt.
I will help. I will do everything I need to help Matt Helm fight him. I would love it. I think Matt Helm's tougher than both those fucks.
All right, guys. St. Patrick's Day, though. What else do we got, Jimmy? Anything up for you?
No, I think we're good.
I agree. It has been a great show. Great cocktails.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you I couldn't drink them.
Can we have another one in front of Craig, too?
Yeah, you guys
Oh,
both
I did
suck
just
ass.
pour you a little more.
I hate you guys.
But no, guys, we again thank you very much for joining us here at our MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society St. Patrick's Day special. Thank you very much, Craig, for telling me that I am number one. I truly appreciate it. But guys, let us know what you think on our Instagram at MMA Bourbon Society. Which one was the best? Tell us on Twitter at MMA
Tell them
Bourbon.
that they're assholes for drinking in front of me all night.
There is that. It'll be fine. But tell us what you like Irish whiskey. Tell us what your favorite cocktail is. Tell us what you want to see on the show. It's all about it. I did say that.
That's right.
Darn right. I'm glad that we all wore green this evening. Thank you very much for that. So, yes. I got to tell you, though, producer Matt has a Patrick Swayze shirt on, and that's
Does
amazing.
he really? I
Yeah,
didn't
he
even
really
notice
does.
it. Oh, my God.
St.
He does.
Patrick's Day.
I love it. Oh, I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for everything, and we will see you next time right here on the MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society.
Cheers,
Bye.
everybody.